Welcome back to the channel where we explore rare coins, hidden treasures, and the incredible stories behind everyday pocket change. Rarest coins. Today, we're uncovering the mystery behind a coin that has shocked collectors and sparked curiosity across the country. The 1966 Washington quarter. That's right, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents. But one rare version reportedly sold for a mind-blowing $1.7 million. How is that even possible? Let's break it down. Let's start with the history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It became such a popular design that it was adopted permanently. From then on, Washington's profile remained the face of the quarter. The reverse design, up until 1998, featured an eagle with its wings spread, clutching arrows with olive branches underneath, a symbol of both strength and peace. Now, when we jump to the year 1966, we're in a very interesting period of American coinage history. Just a couple of years earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint made a major change. Due to rising silver prices, quarters were no longer being made with 90% silver. Instead, the mint switched to a clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. So if you're holding a 1966 quarter, chances are it's a copper-nickel clad coin. Millions were made, over 800 million that year, to be exact. That makes most 1966 quarters pretty common. But, and this is where things get interesting, some extremely rare 1966 quarters have been discovered with unique characteristics that have made collectors stop in their tracks. And one of them, with a combination of rarity, condition, and possibly a dramatic minting error, is rumored to have been sold or appraised at an astonishing value of $1.7 million. So what exactly could make a 1966 Washington quarter worth that kind of money? It all comes down to three main things: condition, rarity, and minting mistakes. Let's talk about condition first. In the coin world, a quarter that's been in circulation, passed around in pockets, change jars, vending machines, is usually scratched, worn, and dull. But an uncirculated coin, especially one graded mint state 67 or higher, is incredibly rare. These are coins that were never used and somehow stayed in pristine condition for decades. That kind of high-grade coin, even without errors, could already be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But what really pushes a coin like the 1966 quarter into the millions is rarity and error. During 1965 and 1966, the mint was transitioning away from silver, but there were still leftover silver planchets, the blanks used to make coins, in the system. A few coins from these years were accidentally struck on silver planchets instead of clad ones. That means if you find a 1966 quarter that sounds a bit different when you drop it, or looks brighter and has a smoother edge, it could be silver. One way to test this without damaging the coin is to weigh it. A regular 1966 clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter weighs around 6.25 grams. That small difference can be worth a fortune. There are also other types of errors that could increase the value significantly. Double die errors, where the design is stamped twice slightly off position. Off-center strikes, where part of the coin is blank. Coins with missing elements, like the edge reading or even the mint mark, though mint marks were not used on quarters in 1966. These errors, especially when combined with a high grade, can skyrocket a coin's value. And then there's the perfect storm, a high grade, uncirculated 1966 quarter struck on a silver planchet or featuring an extremely rare minting error. That's what likely led to the $1.7 million valuation. Whether it sold at a private auction or was appraised by a major grading authority, this coin has become the stuff of legends in the coin collecting community. So how do you know if your 1966 quarter is valuable? First, look at the condition. Is it crisp, clean, and shiny? No scratches, no dull spots. That's a good start. Next, listen to how it sounds when dropped on a hard surface. Silver has a higher pitched ring, while clad coins sound duller. If you suspect it might be silver, Weigh it using a digital scale that measures to the hundredth of a gram. If it's closer to 6.25 grams, you could be holding something very rare. If anything seems unusual, take the next step. Have your coin looked at by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These experts can authenticate the coin, determine if it has any errors, and give it an official grade. That grade can make all the difference when it comes to value. Here's the best part. You don't need to be a coin expert to find one of these gems. Rare coins have been discovered in pocket change, in old family collections, at garage sales, or even in coin rolls from the bank. All it takes is a little curiosity and attention to detail. The story of the 1966 Washington quarter isn't just about one rare coin worth $1.7 million. It's about the possibility that any one of us could stumble across a piece of history. It's about holding something in your hand that's not just money. It's art, it's history, and sometimes it's a hidden fortune. So next time you're about to drop a quarter into a vending machine or toss your change in a jar, take a moment and look. You never know. That little piece of metal might just be your ticket to a life-changing discovery. That if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next deep dive into valuable coins and collectibles. Got a rare coin story or questions about your change? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from fellow collectors. Until next time, happy hunting and keep checking your change. Let me know if you'd like a shortened version for social media, or if you want visual cue suggestions to match this script. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today we're diving into a coin that has stirred up serious buzz in the collector world, the 1990 Washington quarter. That's right, a simple 25-cent coin minted in Denver in 1990, but one version of this coin was reportedly worth an unbelievable $1.4 million. Let's talk about why this seemingly ordinary quarter could be one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. First, let's go back to where it all started. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The original design was never intended to be permanent, but the coin became so popular that it remained in circulation for decades. The front, or obverse, of the coin features the profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The reverse, up until 1998, showed an eagle with its wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches. This design became iconic in American coinage. Now fast forward to 1990. Millions of Washington quarters were minted that year. In fact, the Denver Mint alone produced over 927 million of them. That's a massive number, so by all accounts, the 1990 quarter shouldn't be rare, right? But here's where things get interesting. Sometimes, a small mistake at the mint can turn an everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. In the case of the 1990 Washington quarter, one specific coin made headlines for being worth a staggering $1.4 million. So what made it so special? The key word here is error. In the world of coin collecting, mint errors can skyrocket a coin's value. These aren't just regular wear and tear or damage from circulation. These are mistakes that occurred during the actual production of the coin at the U.S. Mint. And some of them are so rare that collectors are willing to pay outrageous amounts of money to own them. The $1 million 1990 quarter is believed to be a result of a major minting error or a unique die variety. For example, if a coin was struck on the wrong planchet, like a foreign coin blank or even a blank mint for another denomination, that can cause a huge increase in value. There are also double die errors, off-center strikes, missing mint marks, or even quarters with a proof finish accidentally struck at the Denver Mint when proof coins are normally made only in San Francisco. Now, to be fair, not every 1990 quarter is worth a fortune. Most of them are only worth their face value, 25 cents. But if your coin is in pristine condition, meaning it hasn't been used or circulated, and especially if it has one of these rare errors, its value can jump significantly. Coins graded in mint state, particularly MS-67 or higher, are very desirable. Some high-grade 1990 D quarters without errors have sold for over $1,000 just based on condition alone. Let's put it into perspective. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that cost the government less than $1 to produce, and now it's selling for over $1 million. That's the kind of story that fuels the passion of coin collectors around the world. It also reminds us that treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places, even in your spare change. So, how can you tell if you have a rare 1990 D Washington quarter? First, inspect it closely under good lighting. Look for anything unusual, letters that look doubled, an off-center design, or a mint mark that's missing or out of place. If you notice something strange, your next step is to have the coin authenticated and graded by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations will verify if your coin has a mint error, assess its condition, and assign it a grade that can dramatically influence its market value. And let's talk about that number again, $1.4 million. While that specific coin may be one of a kind, its story shows us just how important it is to stay curious and keep an eye out. Rare coins have been found in pocket change, in old drawers, in inherited collections, or even inside coin rolls straight from the bank. It happens more often than people think, and it always starts with someone simply taking a second look. Coin collecting isn't just about money. It's about history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of the hunt. Every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story is worth a fortune. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for notifications. We've got more videos coming up on rare coins, valuable errors, and the hidden gems that could be sitting right under your nose. Got a coin story of your own? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like background music suggestions, thumbnail ideas, or a version optimized for Shorts or TikTok. Welcome back to the channel that uncovers the secrets behind everyday coins and reveals the hidden treasures that could be sitting right in your pocket. In today's video, we're talking about one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, the Lincoln cent. But not just any Lincoln penny, Rarest coins. Today, we're diving deep into the 1960 D Lincoln penny. It's a coin you've probably seen before, maybe even have at home, but one rare version of this penny is believed to be worth as much as $1.7 million. That's right. A 1-cent coin from 1960, struck at the Denver Mint, that could be worth more than a house, more than a Ferrari, and more than most people make in a decade. So what makes this coin so special? Is every 1960 D penny valuable? And how can you tell if you might have one of these rare treasures? Let's find out. First, let's talk about the history of the Lincoln penny. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. The design has remained largely the same on the front, Lincoln's iconic profile, while the reverse went from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. That memorial design was created by Frank Gasparo and remained in place until 2008. Now, let's zoom in on the year 1960. This was a big year for the Lincoln cent because it was the first time the date appeared in two different styles, what collectors call the large date and small date varieties. Both versions were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, which means you could find a 1960 large date, a 1960 small date, a 1960 D large date, and a 1960 D small date. The difference between them is subtle but important. The small date version has thinner and more compact numbers, while the large date has wider, bolder numerals, especially in the zero. The Denver Mint struck over 1.5 billion Lincoln cents in 1960. So, on the surface, the 1960 D penny is extremely common. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these coins, specifically the 1960 D small date pennies, are far more valuable than their large date counterparts. And a few of them, especially those in perfect mint state condition or with rare errors, have sold for incredible amounts of money. One particular example has been appraised or rumored to have reached a valuation of $1.7 million, shocking collectors around the world. So what exactly makes a 1960 D penny worth that much money? There are a few factors at play here. condition, rarity, and error. First up, condition. Most pennies that have been circulating for decades are scratched, worn, and tarnished. But coins that are never released into circulation, coins that are saved right from the mint in rolls or proof sets, can stay in pristine condition. These are called uncirculated coins, and when graded by experts and given a high grade like MS66, MS67, or even MS68, their value increases dramatically. A perfectly preserved 1960 D small date penny in MS67 or better can already be worth several $1,000s. But that's just the beginning. The second factor is rarity. While both small and large date pennies were made in 1960, the small date version is harder to find, especially from the Denver Mint. And even more rare are the small date coins struck with certain die varieties. This includes doubled die coins, where the design was struck twice slightly out of alignment, causing the date or lettering to appear doubled. These doubled die coins are among the most sought after in all of numismatics. Finally, the third factor is error. Some coins from the 1960 D run may have been struck with dramatic minting errors. These could include double strikes, off-center strikes, or being struck on the wrong planchet, a metal blank intended for a different coin. In rare cases, these errors combined with a high grade and the small date variety can send a coin's value into the stratosphere, and that's where the million-dollar story comes in. A particular 1960 D small date penny, believed to be a one-of-a-kind example, possibly struck with a significant error and in near-perfect condition, has been reported to have sold in a private auction or been valued by experts at $1.7 million. It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime finds that proves just how valuable a simple penny can be under the right circumstances. So how can you tell if your 1960 D penny might be worth a fortune? First, grab a magnifying glass or a coin loop and take a close look at the date. Compare it to images of the small date and large date versions online. Pay close attention to the shape and size of the numbers, especially the 0 and the 6. If the numbers are tight and thin, you may have a small date. That's a good sign. Next, check the condition. If your coin still has its original shine, no major scratches, and looks brand new, it could be uncirculated. This increases its value significantly. Then look for any strange features. Is the lettering doubled? Is anything off-center? Does the coin look unusual in weight or color? These could be signs of a rare error. If your coin checks even one of these boxes, your next step should be getting it professionally graded. Trusted grading companies like PCGS or NGC will evaluate your coin, determine if it's a rare variety or contains an error, and assign it a grade. That grade determines how valuable your coin could be in the collector market. Even if your 1960 D penny isn't worth millions, it still might be worth more than you think. High-grade examples without errors can still fetch hundreds, even thousands of dollars, especially if they're the small date variety. This story reminds us that some of the greatest treasures aren't always locked away in museums or hidden in safes. Sometimes, they're tucked away in a coin jar, sitting in a drawer, or passed down through generations without anyone realizing their true value. The 1960 D Lincoln penny is proof that a 1-cent coin can hold more than just its face value. It can hold history, mystery, and in some cases, a life-changing fortune. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or fascinating, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss another deep dive into rare coins and hidden wealth. Got a 1960 D penny in your collection or a coin story to share? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like thumbnail text, video title suggestions, or a short version of this script for social media. Welcome back to the channel that digs deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, unexpected treasures, and the surprising value that could be hiding right in your pocket change. Rarest coins. Today's video is all about the 1990 D Washington quarter. At first glance, it's just another modern quarter. But there's one version of this coin that has reportedly sold or been valued at over $1.3 million. That's right, a 25-cent coin that could change your life. So what makes this quarter so special? What should you be looking for? And could you possibly have one hiding at home? Let's find out. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter has been part of American coinage since 1932. It was introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, and it quickly became a permanent fixture. The design has changed over the years, especially the reverse side. But from 1932 to 1998, the quarter featured an eagle on the back with its wings spread and arrows beneath, symbolizing strength and readiness. Now let's zero in on the year 1990, more specifically, the version of the quarter minted in Denver. You'll know it's a Denver coin if it has a small letter D on the front, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. In 1990, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters, over 927 million, to be exact. That means most 1990 D quarters are not rare. In fact, you probably have one sitting in a jar or drawer right now. But here's the twist. Not all 1990 D quarters are created equal. In the world of coin collecting, there are three factors that can turn an ordinary coin into something incredibly valuable. Those are rarity, condition, and minting errors. The 1990 D quarter that reportedly sold for around $1.3 million had the perfect combination of these elements. Let's talk about condition first. Coin collectors use a grading scale to rate the state of a coin. The highest grades are called mint state, and the very top is MS70, a perfect, flawless coin. Most coins never come close to that because they get scratched, handled, or worn down. A 1990 D quarter graded at MS67 or higher is already considered rare and can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the market. But that alone wouldn't push it into million-dollar territory. So what does? Mint errors. Errors are mistakes that happen during the production process at the U.S. Mint. Some coins are struck off-center, some have doubled images, others are struck on the wrong type of metal blank called a planchet. These errors are usually caught and destroyed, but once in a while, one escapes the system and makes it into circulation. That's when things get exciting for collectors. Now imagine finding a 1990 D quarter that not only is in near-perfect condition, but also has a dramatic, rare error. For example, if it was struck on a silver planchet, which shouldn't have been used at that time, or if it has a double die on the obverse, which means the design looks like it's slightly doubled, or maybe even a misaligned die that causes part of the coin to appear shifted or off-center. Those kinds of features are what can make a coin go from pocket change to life-changing. So, where does the $1.3 million story come from? Reports suggest that a 1990 D Washington quarter with a rare combination of high-grade condition and a major minting anomaly was either sold in a private auction or appraised at over $1 million. While details about the exact error haven't been made fully public, collectors believe it may have been a coin struck on a transitional or experimental planchet. Coins like that are incredibly rare, often considered one of a kind. The real takeaway here is this. Just because a coin is modern doesn't mean it's not valuable. We often think only old coins from the 1800s or earlier are worth big money, but that's not always the case. Coins from the 1980s and 1990s can carry huge value if they're rare enough or have the right errors. That's why it's always worth checking. So how can you tell if your 1990 D quarter is valuable? First, look at the condition. If it looks like it just came from the mint, no scratches, no dings, and still has that original shine, that's a good sign. Second, examine it for anything strange. Is the image off-center? Do the letters or numbers look doubled? Does the coin feel heavier or lighter than normal? Does the edge look different? If anything looks unusual, it might be worth investigating. And third, if you think your coin might be special, don't just guess, get it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC will authenticate the coin, determine if it has any errors, and give it an official grade. That grade can make all the difference when it comes to selling the coin or getting it appraised. The amazing thing is that stories like this remind us of how much hidden value there can be in everyday items. Most people walk right past quarters without a second thought. But someone looked closer, spotted something unique, and ended up holding a coin that was worth more than a house, more than a luxury car. More than most people make in a lifetime. So before you spend that next quarter at a vending machine or toss your change in a jar, take a few extra seconds. Look at the year. Check the mint mark. Examine the details. Because you never know, you just might be holding a piece of American history that's worth far more than 25 cents. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or fascinating, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into rare coins and valuable currency. Have you ever found something rare in your pocket change? Got a 1990 quarter you're curious about? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from you. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like to adapt this for a video short, include visual cue suggestions, or create an accompanying thumbnail or title idea. Welcome back to the channel that brings you the secrets behind everyday coins and the jaw-dropping stories of rare finds hiding in plain sight. Rarest coins. Today we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Lincoln cent. But not just any penny. We're talking about the 1993 Lincoln penny. And while most people wouldn't look twice at a coin from the 90s, one rare version of this very penny has reportedly been valued at a staggering $1.3 million. That's right. A 1-cent coin, just 30 years old, turning heads in the coin collecting world with a value most people would never believe. So what makes this penny so special? Why are collectors talking about it? And could you be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it? Let's dig in. First, let's take a look at the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln penny was first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and since then, it has become the most produced coin in American history. The design on the front has remained largely the same over the years, Lincoln's famous profile, while the reverse changed in 1959 from wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, and again in 2009 to celebrate his bicentennial. Now let's fast forward to 1993. The Denver Mint produced billions of pennies that year. The 1993 penny, like all others from the 90s, was made from a copper-plated zinc composition. That's 97.5% zinc, with a thin layer of copper giving it that classic red-brown look. At first glance, there's nothing particularly rare or unusual about this coin. So how does one version of it end up worth over $1 million? It all comes down to three key factors that coin collectors obsess over: condition, rarity, and errors. And in this case, all three may have come together in a very special way. Let's start with condition. In the coin world, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS-70 is considered flawless. No marks, no scratches, no wear, even under magnification. For a penny that's been around for 3 decades, finding one in that condition is incredibly rare. Most of the 1993 pennies in circulation are scratched, worn, or damaged. But there are a few out there, possibly stored away in original mint sets or never released into circulation, that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. Those alone can be worth serious money, often hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the grade. But condition alone doesn't explain $1 million price tag. That's where rarity and errors come into play. Over the years, the U.S. Mint has occasionally made small mistakes during the coin production process. These errors can include double strikes, off-center strikes, missing elements, or even coins struck on the wrong metal. In the case of the 1993 penny, experts believe that the $1 million version may have been struck on a bronze planchet, the metal used for pennies before 1982. Instead of the zinc-copper composite used in 1993. If true, this would make it a transitional error. Transitional errors happen when a coin is struck using a metal blank left over from a previous year or composition. And these types of mistakes are among the most desirable and valuable in the numismatic world. They're extremely rare, often one of a kind, and highly sought after by serious collectors. A penny struck on a bronze planchet in 1993 would have a different weight and a different sound. It would weigh about 3.11 grams instead of 2.5 grams, and the color would be slightly richer, closer to the pre-1982 copper coins. It might not look like much at first glance, but under the microscope, and with the right measurements, the difference would be clear, and the value could be extraordinary. Reports suggest that such a coin may have been discovered and appraised or even sold in a private auction for approximately $1.3 million. While exact details of the sale remain private, the buzz in the collector community is very real. And stories like this fuel the imagination of collectors everywhere. So the big question is this: could you have one? If you have a 1993 D-Lincoln penny, start by checking the basics. Look at the condition. Is it clean and shiny? Does it have that new penny luster? Any coin that looks close to mint state is worth a second look. Next, weigh it using a digital gram scale. If your penny weighs 3.11 grams instead of 2.5, you may be onto something big. Look closely at the lettering, date, and mint mark. Are there signs of doubling? Is the strike off center? Any of these things can add value. If you find anything unusual, your next step should be to send the coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate it, confirm any errors, and give it a grade that determines its market value. Without certification, it's hard to convince a buyer of a coin's rarity, especially at the 6 or 7-figure level. Even if your 1993 D penny isn't the $1 million one, it still might be worth more than face value. Coins in mint state can bring in anywhere from a few bucks to a few $100s depending on the grade and demand. And remember, many of these treasures are still out there, in jars, in collections, and in rolls of coins sitting in bank vaults. The story of the 1993 D-Lincoln penny shows us something powerful. The most ordinary-looking object can carry extraordinary value if you take the time to look. It's a reminder that history, craftsmanship, and human error can all combine to create something truly special. And it might be sitting right in your pocket. So before you spend that next penny, take a moment, check the date, check the mint mark. Look for anything out of the ordinary. Because hidden treasures don't always sparkle. Sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you don't miss any future videos on rare coins, valuable finds, and the stories behind the money we carry every day. Got a penny story of your own? Found something unusual in your change? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from you. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like a shortened version for Instagram or TikTok, or if you'd like thumbnail and title ideas to pair with this script.